Robert Gowan sitting here at 15 Perry Street, Mentors Military coming at you, and I'm joined by Cardia Summers. Cardia, I appreciate you coming all this way to join the Mentors Military podcast.
Thanks for having me, Rob.
So I know that there's so much that we want to get into, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to piece this into different segments that we can talk about. But if anybody is sitting here watching us on the show, you're going to see a lot of great stuff that's laying out on the table that we're going to get into. But we're going to begin with the humble beginnings. And I think that was you as being a military brat, and I'm a military brat as well, Navy, you're Army. But your kind of memory of home, I guess, is Fort Campbell, Hopkinsville?
Yeah, my dad stood up 160th, so Fort Campbell, Kentucky is home.
Yeah, that's like a major thing, too, by 160th, and maybe we'll get in that, too. And then after, I understand at some time frame, or I think it was after that time period, you end up going to Hawaii.
Yeah, you know, we eventually transitioned there as he went through the ranks, and, you know, just being an Army brat in Hawaii was certainly fun, but island fever definitely kicked in eventually.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot from individuals that they get that island fever, that rock fever or something that kicks in about a year, and then there are other people that kind of surprise me that end up wanting to stay there and extend.
Yeah, I think that decision is based off really where they are in their career. I mean, I was in high school, so I certainly would have loved to stay, but we end up transitioning to Fort Lewis next.
Right in the middle of high school. That's very challenging. I know I moved my daughter between, say, middle school and high school, and I think that was a pivotal moment in her life.
It's certainly hard. You know, I went to 3 different high schools, actually. So started in Atlanta, Georgia, when my dad was at Fort McPherson and Fort Gillem, and then Schofield Barracks, and then Fort Lewis. But I would say I'm certainly grateful for it. Because of that experience, I'm able to relate to a lot of people. So Italy was next. Yeah.
So was this by choice that you ended up wanting to go to 173rd?
Yeah, it was. Well, my 173rd path wasn't by choice, and I can get into that, but it was by choice to go to Italy. You know, I just fortunately was selected for Paralegal of the Year, the Sergeant Coggins Award, and really just needed to broaden my horizons as a paralegal.
Yeah.
So
let's go back, though, then to why it was that you ended up leaving Battalion, because that really set your now career and everything and determination kind of forward.
Yeah, really, it was leaving 375 early, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I was selected to serve as the regimental senior paralegal after my 375 time, but unfortunately what that did was shorten my time in Battalion. So, you know, I miss Halo and a lot of cool guy schools. But on the contrary to that, I was able to broaden my horizons and better myself as a person.
Yeah. Well, see, and a lot of people don't even know that you get the opportunities to go to the cool guy schools as a paralegal.
Correct, you do. I mean, there's paralegals out there with Master Halo. You know, there's multiple jump masters, right? Because you still have to serve your unit and be a soldier first.
Yeah. So you end up going to 173rd. Did you like Italy?
So I actually ended up going to 207 MI.
Oh, so it wasn't 173rd.
No, yeah. So 207 MI.
Are they in Vicenza?
They are. It was a brand new unit. I was really just tasked as the senior paralegal, and that's unfortunately where I had my DUI. So based off that.
Well, let's go. What was it? So the story behind that is that you were just having a good time with some friends and everything, and maybe share a little bit about that. What happened?
Yeah, it's just really a lack of discipline. You know, you come from a regiment where everything's regimented and structured. You know, you go to work at 5, get off whenever you get off. And Italy, it's the first time I didn't have a first sergeant to tell me, hey, don't do this. I was the top guy, and with that, unfortunately, it led to poor decisions. You know, I'm getting off work at 2 o'clock. Just
freedom,
literally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just made a poor decision in drinking and driving. So.
Yeah, and it's happened multiple occasions to guys I know, and some that even went on to launch into other careers, like, you know, going to Delta or something like that. So it's not a career ending per se all the time. It just all depends upon how you react to it, what you feel about it. Then again, it can be depending upon what type of unit you're in. So, you know, when you got the DUI, how did things change for you, at least in terms of your career? And at this point, you'd been in a fairly good amount of time. You were just about reaching that hump where you start making a decision about, do I go for retirement?
Yeah, it certainly shifted my career. I was going to make E7 the following year, and with that, it really just led to a reclass.
And everything. How was that as far as being a leader? Did people, did they kind of gravitate towards you, and what was that kind of experience for you?
Yeah, really, Italy is like the 4th Lost Ranger Battalion, we should call it. So any scroll I try to meet, given my seniority, and I wanted to be a tab and scroll bearer. Wanted to be a tab and scroll bearer. So for me, I tried to groom any Joe that I met. I'm fortunate to I'm proud to say that I placed 3 of my former
team members
into regiment.
Yeah, that's tremendous right there. I mean, you were obviously mentoring very early, and most of us in terms of like NCOs and stuff, and officers as well. But you get to a point where you start trying to pay it forward with other people, and it sounds like that's obviously what you were doing. I mean, having been NCO of the year, paralegal of the year, and all these types of things, and like you said, you had good mentorship. It's really neat that you were willing to pass that on and give that to somebody else.
Yeah, it certainly matters. Just thinking about really my path, I wouldn't even have been able to serve as a squad leader if it wasn't for my former first sergeant and Command Sergeant Major Molinex.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that they gave me the chance.
About from your experiences, so maybe give us the concept of what Cheers is before we get into what you had to do to build it.
Yeah, so from my mistake in drinking and driving, I wanted to create a platform to prevent others from doing the same.
Yeah.
So that's Cheers' core mission.
Yeah, so doing the same means that you're in a group of individuals, somebody says, hey, listen, we ran out of alcohol, you volunteer, or whatever, and may put yourself in a position where you could get a DUI, or, whatever the case may be. And so you decided to ensure that doesn't happen, to create an app in which people can go out and request alcohol and it be delivered.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, for it to be available is shocking.
Absolutely.
I would have never thought that something like Cheers would be available, because you would think those types of names and stuff, oh, it's already taken. And so you started the process of, I guess, first creating the business plan and deciding, the market, what we're talking about in terms of scale and those types of things from the training that you'd received?
Yeah, I started talking to customers way before I had the name. It's been a long journey. I started in June 2020. So just talking to store owners, trying to figure out what the problem is.
Liquor store owners.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
What was the feedback, some of the feedback that you got from them, and did it really help you in developing what is now Cheers?
It did, because we really wanted to figure out the delivery process. So we was able to shorten our delivery time down to 21 minutes from the feedback received from liquor store and restaurant store owners.
21 minutes to delivery.
Correct.
Oh, wow. So what they started saying is they do get a lot of calls from individuals that are looking for somebody to, could they deliver, or were they giving you that kind of feedback at that time frame?
Absolutely. And, the alcohol industry is a 3-tier industry, so it's certainly a unique process with Cheers. We're able to help them reach their consumers. I had a tough decision to make. Do I leave college and move the team to a better market?
Yeah.
Where there's over 18 states where cocktails and craft brews to go are legal. But I chose to stay, really to have the team really develop a sense of, I would say, character.
Yeah.
You learn a lot just going through adversity, and it certainly taught us a lot. So, but we were back to the drawing board, right? So we had to redo the app. But with that process, we learned that Cheers could be useful in other methods.
I know you went through the training and everything, and it's one thing for you to, have this experience, but putting this together in terms of a business model,
Right.
that's entirely different. And I mean, you've now had to learn how to stand up a business, the back end of it, the marketing aspects, how to grow, the people that are using the app. I mean, there's a lot of nuances here we're talking about that people just take advantage of getting an app, downloading it, and pushing a button that they don't see.
Yeah. Michael Siebel, the CEO of Y Combinator, he says the best founders, you have to be half an idiot, excuse my language, but just to think that you can actually iterate and actually scale a business, right?
Yeah.
So thankfully, I would say I'm glad I didn't think about the entire process.
But it's funny though, because that's why so many people fail as an entrepreneur, is because they don't know everything that you learned in the very beginning of the challenges of it. So, but going into it, you were okay with going into it, knowing all those things.
I would say I didn't know. Good thing I'm a strong Ranger, really just, yeah. Yeah.
You've been blessed to be surrounded by individuals who are willing to take you in, but I think too that there are people that are out there, and you sound like you're one of them as well, that if there's somebody that you could take under your wing and show them the ropes and teach them how to do it, and they're a willing listener and participant, that goes a long way.
It certainly does. Mentorship works both ways.
Yeah. Well, there's the mentee and the mentor, and you're absolutely right. And a lot of people confuse coaching and mentoring. This is truly people who have sat down and tried to give you guidance, but they're not trying to coach you. They're just trying to make sure you know what you're doing, and how is this now reacting, or how are you reacting to that situation, and those types of things that's really helped you grow. So is it outside of liquor stores, or is it, like, in other words, now the breweries, since I talked about that, I'm kind of curious, are breweries starting to see this as an opportunity as well, or not yet?
Absolutely.
Really? Okay.
Absolutely. And again, it varies based off our location, but what's important for us is in my job really to find a scalable model. So we're in the phase of product market fit. We have a few ideas that we feel could be profitable
out there and for your company.
Absolutely, and I hope to be here as well. What I will say is we won't quit, and we're going to continue to explore. It's going to be a long journey in the product market fit phase, but I hope to be back as well.
Through some of your adversity that's really helped you is, and through the self-reflection like we were talking about, is a book or something that you've read. So maybe tell us a little bit about that.
It's called Meditations of an Army Ranger. By J.C. Glick, retired Lieutenant General.
He's been on here.
I know. Great guy.
He is.
Got the book from Major Tony Main, the former regiment PAO. And really just realized I didn't have a personal philosophy. So I was just all deep in cheers, and really with the book, I was able to really come up with a clear, concise direction and guidance for who I want to be as a man and how I want to project myself.
Yeah.
So I was grateful to read that book.
And a long read, a short read, tell our listeners. I'm assuming they can find it. You found it like on Amazon or something?
Yeah, it's a short read. It's certainly useful for veterans that are getting out and looking for a purpose.
Yeah, not just Rangers either, just to be clear. It was just written by an Army Ranger, but it doesn't, So I think that's a great book, and thanks for sharing that. JC's an awesome guy. He's done amazing things even within the service and then outside of it, the way he's established different programs out there. I'm glad that, to hear that he's made such a great impact on someone like you. And I'm sure he'll listen to this and be happy to hear that as well.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, before we go, though, I do want to also point out how they can go about getting into Cheers and looking for that, and the app available at the App Store and stuff on their phone, and they can go ahead and download it and wait for.
Absolutely.
Are there alerts that could be sent to them as to alerts them when their state's there, or is they just frequently check just to see, sort of like all these other things that have come online in the local space where they could find you? So
yeah, we're available in New York. We'll be available in Georgia here in June, and we're available on the App Store, all app stores, so the Google Store, the Google Play Store, and the Apple
Cheers
iOS Store.
And that's all they got to put in the search, and
just search Cheers.
And the logo looks like 2 martini glasses, and so I'm assuming that the photo, at least for the app, is the same.
Absolutely.
That way they'll know that for sure that they're getting your product and downloading your app, as opposed to somebody out there that may go by the same name. Hopefully there's not one, like you said, it was pretty unique at that time frame. But yeah, I encourage everybody to go out there, download the app. Make sure that you're paying attention to when it might be coming to your local community, and the near future. Hopefully it ends up growing across the globe here, and we get a lot of people really engaged in utilizing your app to use your product, your services.
Absolutely. And with our recent partnership with DoorDash, whether we're in New York or Georgia, whether you're not in New York or Georgia, we hope to come to your state soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, appreciate so much for you coming all this way and being on the show and sharing not only your journey and the challenges of being an entrepreneur and starting up a company, but I always enjoy talking to individuals who are trying to give back, and you're certainly trying to do that through this application. Sure, it means that you're also going to build a company, and it has to make money and all of that, but your mission is important, what you're trying to do, and the reason why you're looking at coming to the state of Georgia to help reduce the DUIs, and specifically within the veteran community, is very commendable. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. And 1% of our funds go to the Ranger for Life program stood up by Tony Main. So we're certainly committed to giving back to former Rangers and veterans overall.
Outstanding. So again, everybody go out, download the app, do that today, and find that out in the App Store. Appreciate you coming on, Cardia.
Thanks, Rob.
All right.
Cheers.
Love it.